Hello, welcome to another episode of The Working Hour, a WHMS radio-style podcast. I'm Mike, and beside me is my best friend and co-host, Shane. Shane, go ahead and tell us what we're going to be doing this week on the podcast.
So, on this week's episode, we are going to be we have listened to, Beck's album, Modern Guilt, released on July 7th of 2008. Modern Guilt is the 11th studio album by American musician Beck, with a runtime of 33 minutes and 33 seconds. The album was produced by Beck and Danger Mouse, and features two contributions by Cat Power. The album genre is psychedelic rock, avant pop, and neo psychedelia. Singles off the album are Chemtrails, Gamma Ray, and Youthless, which, Youthless, we'll get to it.
Youthless is, I'm forgetting it, but we'll get there.
Exactly. But yeah, the album received generally positive reviews upon release, earning a rating of 77 out of 100 on Metacritic, with the outlier review of 2 out of 5 by The Guardian. I didn't know too much about Danger Mouse's involvement, whenever I initially listened to this, but as I started doing research,
it's pretty
heavy. There's plenty.
It's pretty much
all
the
of
foundation of it, and he just kind of put the siding on the house. Beck being the siding guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you have much else to add?
Yeah, I have a couple things. So probably should have cut this in the intro, but what we're going to do here, if you're new to the podcast, I mean, we cover a bunch of albums, but we're going to give you a track-by-track analysis. This is going to be a track-by-track analysis on Beck Modern Guilt. I do have a couple things to tag on to what you were saying. The original concept for the album was 10 short tracks, each around 2 minutes long, but Beck eventually decided to eliminate the shorter tracks. Songs begin with an acoustic guitar and a drum beat. Selected songs would then be embellished upon, adding keyboard, bass, and Beck adding other instruments. Beck described the album as the most intensive work he'd ever done. And I have a quote here from Beck himself. It was like trying to fit 2 years of songwriting into 2.5 months. I know I did at least 10 weeks with no days off until 4 or 5 in the morning every night, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Also, I have a thing here now. I'm not sure because
I started at midnight, but whatever.
Right. I was working third shift, but now I pulled this from Wikipedia. I'm not going to lie. So I don't know how accurate this is, but at 33 minutes long, this is supposedly the shortest album that Beck has ever came out with only two songs lasting longer than 4 minutes. So take that as what it's worth. Not sure when that was put on the Wikipedia. It might be out of date by now because he's put out a couple albums
past this,
since 2008. So
yeah, it was kind of a toss-up. I wasn't sure. Truthfully, I wasn't sure what album to pick. It was between this, Sea Change, Guero, and let me see, because I have it right here. Morning Phase from 2014, which I hear did really well whenever it came out, but I've never listened to it, so I was kind of hesitant.
Going into it blind. Yeah.
But no, you did a really good job on the intro there with that
little tidbit.
You did much better than I did.
Well, no, you're fine. We handled it together, but I have nothing more to add. So if you would like to take us into track number 1,
let's do it. Track number 1, we have Orphans coming in at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. The psychedelic rock on the album is very evident on this song. Song opens with a deep, muffled drum beat followed by some distorted keys, a few shakes of a tambourine. The guitar comes in, has this distorted skip to it. Almost sounds like it plays in reverse at parts. Beck's vocals come in as the music is still reserved. Beck's vocals come in as the music is coming in, still reserved before the music really gets going into the first line. Think I'm stranded, but I don't know where. I got this diamond, I don't know how to shine. There's some quick clapping that hits, and the drums come in proper. Music pulls back a little bit. Beck's vocals have some backing vocals along with them. Cast out these creatures of woe, shatter themselves. Fight, fighting the fire with your bare hands. I like that line. It's an interesting line. At 137, sounds like some organ comes in. The music gets very spacey with the. I had to look this up. Uh, the marimba and the tambourine. I especially like the lyrics. If I wake up and see my maker coming, with all his crimson and iron desire, we'll drive the streets with baggage alone. 209 through until the end is full instrumentation, going from quiet to loud. It's almost like kind of celebratory with its sound. There's some brief like backing vocalization from Beck. Song gets a little effects heavy right at the end with the zip sound like an old TV like turning off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could really like equate it
That's
to.
what I thought it sounded like too.
And there's other songs where something similar happens, where you just like feel like something is just losing power as it just like dies down.
Yeah, some of them are kind of abrupt though, I thought.
Oh,
At least
totally.
on one that I'm thinking of. I can't pull it off the top of my head, but I definitely have it in my notes.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, it's done.
Yeah.
It's
We're
done.
out of here. Quick.
But yeah, I thought this was a really solid opening track. Very smooth transitions from like different paces, and some really fun distortion on the vocals and the instruments. I give this a 7.4.
Nice. Okay, so I'm a little bit lower than you. I thought it was really interesting on the intro. It definitely caught my attention for the being an intro track. That boom, 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 boom,
Bum
boom.
bum.
Yeah, the beating of like the drum. It's very electronic in a way. It kind of gets hectic and crazy with a lot of sounds going on. The more we get into it, and then we get the lyrics. And there's a nice bass line with it in the background. That opening verse, think I'm stranded, but I don't know where. I got this diamond. I don't know how to shine. I like that verse. That was the only one I actually quoted from this. But I was looking to this. I was looking forward to covering this album because we talked about it, I guess, a little bit last week on the Tom Petty. This was probably off mic, but I'd been kind of thinking of like looking to Beck as an artist to cover one of his albums because I wasn't really familiar with any of his albums cover to cover. So this being really my introduction to Beck for a cover to cover album. So I was really like optimistic going into this, and this was a great track. I didn't think it was anything like super spectacular, but it was a nice song and a very easy listen. The runtime not crazy long either, just a smidge over 3 minutes in all reality. Um, like I said, it wasn't nothing spectacular, but it did keep me really optimistic, and it really made me curious to see what was going to come because, like I kind of said, this was the first Beck song that I'd heard that wasn't on the radio or just like a killer hit. Like we were listening to stuff before we recorded of just some of Beck's stuff, and you were like literally listing off the track names, and I'm like, that doesn't ring a bell, and then you play it, and I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I've
yeah, yeah.
definitely heard this before. Um, but yeah, this was nice, and there's like a empty space of just music, really solid music between like 240 and the end of the track. It was very nice, and it worked well. I'm not always a big fan of just like throwing an instrumental to fill in the gaps, but it worked well here, and it was interesting. Like you touched on it on the fade out of this track, that kind of sounds like a TV turning off. I gave this a 6.9. And that will move us on to track number 2, Gamma Ray, coming in just a little bit under 3 minutes. I have it at 2 minutes, 57 seconds. I thought this one was much different than the last one, and I think anybody would agree with me on that. I'm not way out of my lane with that. The main riff gives off strong surf vibes, like very much so. I had read that the song was about a girl that Beck met on the beach, so take that for what it's worth, but it definitely kind of aligns with the beach vibes. Um, Obviously, this is one of the more popular songs. I knew this one going into it. Um, Even like listening to it with the album on Spotify, this was already on my like songs. Go figure. Um, it's a very catchy riff. The lyrics also just flow so easily. I have a quote here from Beck himself. Is this? Do you pronounce? Is it Hansen? Beck Hansen?
Mm.
Okay, that's what I thought. because I never really actually thought that was his name. Like, part of me probably thought that was his last name. But
Yeah.
then coming into this, it shows you how much I know about Beck. Not a lot. But I have a quote here from him about this song specifically. A lot of the other songs had things going on lyrically that were a little more hefty, had a little bit more weight to them. On Gamma Ray, I kept trying to do that, but it just didn't work. I ended up just improvising the lyrics, actually. I thought it should feel like those Chuck Berry songs where he just is singing about a car and it feels like he's making it up. He's making up the lyrics on the spot. It's sort of nonsense, but it has the right feeling. That's what I ended up going with on this song. It was meant to be just kind of a song about a car and a girl and not really much else. That's the end of the quote. The title of the track refers to gamma rays, which are biologically hazardous energy emitted by radioactive decay. There are apocalyptic themes throughout the song, including melting ice caps, boredom, burning houses, crowns of thorns, and natural disasters. My favorite verse is probably that she's got on a cactus crown with a dot, dot, dot on her brow. And the
Bro.
way he carries that out, yes, it's the delivery is chef's kiss. So this one is solid. This is not something I get down to all the time, but if it comes on and it's something I haven't heard overly too much, yeah, I would definitely probably crank this. I didn't give it a crazy high score. It's probably worthy of a little bit higher score than what I gave it. I was kind of more looking for the diamond in the rough tracks on this album, which we'll get into. I definitely have some scores that rival what this is. Gamma Rays, though, it's a great song. I could definitely tell why it was a single. It's an easy, likable song for sure. It's very upbeat, makes you want to kind of tap your toe to it for sure. If anything, maybe even nod your head a little bit. Um, like I said, the score might be a little low, but I'm not going to deny its overall quality is very good. I give this a 7.4.
Okay. So I got the song starts off very upbeat with some guitar that has like a little bassy sound to it, and some really rapid drumming. It has a 60s surf rock sound to the song. I remember playing this back in the day on, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Guitar Hero 5 that it was on. Um, Beck comes in at 24 seconds with this like distortion, as well as this like weird kind of like ghostly vocalization that fades in and out. If I could hold out for now, with these ice caps melting down, with the transistor sound, and my Chevrolet Terraplane going round, round, round. Beck has his delivery of around drag out with some electronic distortion. Hit me like a gamma ray, standing in a hurricane, and I'm pulling out thorns, smokestack lightning out my window. I want to know what I've lost today. 155 to 216, there is a instrumental break, a mix of rattling, muffled drums, acoustic strings, and a mix of sound effects. There's also this like tinging sound of some of the instruments that becomes more noticeable on the second half of the song, as well as some echoed clapping. It's a pretty like simple, straightforward track with some really solid energy. And like kind of what you were saying before about the a lot of the songs being like a little bit more condensed and shorter. It's in and out in under 3 minutes. It's psychedelic and weird, but I feel like it's oh so catchy.
Yeah, it's very catchy.
We're pretty close on this. I gave this a 7.6 out of 10.
Nice. I could align with 7.6 like all day long. I think I was a little low, but
Even on like the first track, I felt like maybe I was a little high on it. Like I could go like 7.1 on all
I
of
didn't have
this.
any. Like, there's not a track on this where I didn't like it. Some are just better than others.
Sure.
But I mean, that goes without saying. Any album.
Yeah. So on to track number 3, we have Chemtrails coming in at 4 minutes and 38 seconds.
One of the longer
This one of the
tracks.
longer ones.
Yes.
The song doesn't have quite the Beck energy I came to expect. The song opens and it's quiet, almost tired. Song opens with guitar, bass, organ, and the occasional like piano key as Beck quietly sings, "I can't believe what we've seen outside. You and Me Watching Jets Go By. 36 seconds in, the drums come in and really steal the show. Everything else kind of just serves the drums. The song has found its like much faster pace at this point. The vocals pick up pace without overtaking the instrumentation. Down by the sea, so many people, they've already drowned. You and me watching the sea full of people, try not to drown. So many people, so many people. Where do they go? I do like the lyrics, so many people being repeated.
So
Many people, so many people. Like I really like that. That's very nice. The music slows down at 122. The organ and the bass and the keys are back with Beck going quiet on his singing before popping off again and the drums come back. The bass guitar deserves a nod on this song as well, and so do the keys. They both like complement the drums really well. Some stringed instruments come in and the vocals like layer as the song builds to a big crescendo around the 4 minute mark. At 4:04, a bell rings out and a snap as the music starts to quiet before coming back in with some really solid shredding of the guitar. Uh, I think it's a pretty epic song with like crazy progression. I see why this is a single. It's different, but it's a good ass single. And this might be my highest score on the album. It probably is. I give this an 8.4 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could honestly I could see this song playing in the movie Weapons whenever like in the opening when
Yeah.
it's like so many people, where do they go? So
They're not at
many
school. Let me tell you.
people. So
No, this one made my like songs pretty much like instantly. Probably on the first listen. The opening lyrics are saying kind of like in a very eerie way. I can't believe what we've seen outside. You and me watching the jets go by, and that ooh ooh ooh, just the delivery of that. And this is about the conspiracy about like the airplanes dropping shit. I don't want to say cloud seeding, but like just when you see the jet go by and you see that little line of cloudage behind it, that's what the song is about, which I found pretty interesting that it's kind of like a conspiracy song, more or less. Um, the whole song is really quite different than the beach vibes we got off the previous song of Gamma Ray, and also different from Orphans. Beck's vocals are a lot softer, um, and just, I don't know, I like this one a lot. Just like you said, it kind of builds. Um, it's it's very, I don't want to say it's intense, but it's the percussion is very nice. Like you said, it kind of just serves everything else. It flows really good, and that's really what like got its claws into me. Also, that second verse, just what I've seen, so many people falling in love, you and me watching the sea full of people. Beck's vocals have always been good to me, but this was totally new to my ears, and it really knocked it out of the park for me. The song doesn't carry a crazy like amount of energy, especially compared to like Gamma Ray. This isn't something that would make me want to like get up and dance, but it's something that I really do enjoy. And like every time I've listened to it, doing the notes, I'm like, this is probably the one that I like the most off the album. Throughout the entire runtime, there's repetitiveness in the structure, but it's giving me the same sound that I like, so I'm perfectly fine if it repeated itself even a little bit longer. The drumming is a nice touch on the track too. It's kind of muffled in the background, but it still goes pretty hard if you listen to it. Um, the individual key hitting of like the keyboard is very nice too. It's a nice touch. I thought this one was like quite a bit of synth too at times. Um, it's nothing to stand out as far as the synth, but it's definitely there, and I feel like I noticed it a little bit more, at least the accents of the synth. Um, Around the 4 minute 15 mark, we got to fade into a little bit of a different sound. A lot more guitar sounds before it just quickly ends. But overall, I really like this one. This might be one of my higher rated scores too. I gave this a 7.8, so it was very good.
okay.
And that will lead us to track number 4, the name of the album, Modern Guilt. Coming in, I have it as Pi 3.14, 3 minutes 14 seconds. So I got a quote here from Beck himself. This is from 2008. The The way a lot of my songs are written, I write the music first and I record it. And then with a song like Modern Guilt, I just get on the microphone and write something really quick, sort of off the top of my head, so I can remember the melody. And what happens a lot of times is that what I initially sing on there ends up being on the record. A lot of these things I don't really get to spend too much time on figuring out what it is, which is kind of like some of the tracks here, especially just going off that quote, improvising the lyrics. A lot of the tracks, there's not a whole lot of like rhyme or reason, or it's not like Stairway to Heaven, or like we can't sit here and really analyze it piece by piece. But
Right.
for me personally, I always kind of just interpreted this song as like the the current or the next generation, like our kids, just kind of like inheriting all the problems that past generations have put out. And you're just kind of born with the way guilt, like the guilt of the way things are and things have been in the past. Like there's plenty of stuff that is going on in the modern world now that me and you had nothing to do with, but like our parents or our grandparents definitely played a role in
Right.
such instances. They're just random political things, whatever. I'm not going to elaborate on it more than that. But there's a verse, don't know what I done, but I feel ashamed. It kind of really aligns with that sort of meaning that I was going off of earlier. It's a pretty catchy track from beginning to end, as a lot of the tracks on this album are very catchy. The last chorus verse sends the track out pretty well. Modern guilt is all in our hands. Modern guilt won't get me to bed. Say what you will, smoke your last cigarette. Don't know what I've done, but I feel afraid. I wasn't totally crazy about this one. I don't have a whole lot for it, other than it's pretty catchy and it's another easy listen, and it flows pretty good. And it kind of flows a little bit off the previous track of just like even Gamma Ray to a degree with like the apocalyptic themes to a sense, um, and then coming off of chemtrails too, kind of just stuff going on, conspiracy or not, whatever have you. I gave this a decent score. Anything above a 7, if you've listened to the podcast before, which hopefully you have. Anything above a 7 for me personally is a solid song that I'd listen to any day of the week. I gave this a 7.1.
Okay, we're a little off on this one.
Am I lower?
You're higher.
Okay,
Yeah,
I could see that. This is nothing spectacular by no means, but
sure,
I appreciated the concept of it, if anything.
sure. Yeah, the drum beat to start, along with some like faint, like zipping, spacey effects. Then a little bass and some quiet vocalization. I feel uptight when I walk in the city. I feel so cold when I'm at home. There's like a digital boop effect that like starts to come in. Modern guilt, I'm stranded with nothing. Modern guilt, I'm under lock and key. The electric guitar rings out with like a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Misapprehension is turning into convention. Follow this with the piano coming in on its own with a 1, 2, 3, 4. The bass guitar and the drumming with like subtle effects remain the through line in the song, with some like sprinkled in moments of electric guitar and the piano getting some more time to shine. From 2 minutes on to the end of the song is an extended musical breakdown with some like light sing-songy vocalization from Beck. This is a solid track. It does a nice job at like mixing more conventional rock with some more electronic elements. While it may not be too flashy, it's not a bad listen by any means. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, a little bit. We were a little bit off on that
A
one.
little bit, a little bit. On to track number 5, we have Youthless coming in at 2 minutes and 57 seconds. The bass guitar grabs your attention right away with some like drum, like machine beat accompanying it, as well as some like snaps and clicks. Beck comes in about 17 seconds in. There is this like effect to his voice when it sounds like some of his words are cut like ever so short, just a little bit, giving an almost like robotic nature to his delivery. It's a little unnatural. Hang your clothes on a chain link fence in a junkyard, say amen. Your mouth is full of wordless hymns and run on sentences, and they're helpless and forgetting in the background, holding nothing. Digital effects come in more on this song, like you'd probably come to expect. Reminds me a good bit of the last song, with maybe like 10% more digitalization or digitization. It's especially noticeable on the chorus and also coming off of the chorus too. Beck even has like a little bit of vocal layering with a like short stop that I had mentioned before on some of his like skipping vocals as well. Uh, on the outro of the song, that is. The song ends with like a 1 2 3 1 2 3 from the guitar, and it's like right at the end that I noticed this that the 1 2 3 1 2 3 was kind of the musical beat throughout the entire song. My feelings are similar to the last one. This one just went a little further with like the electronic sound. I gave this a not much not much of a difference really. I gave this a 6 out of 10.
Okay, so yeah, this one I like the energy that the track starts up with on the intro. The lyrics really do kind of align with the quote I gave you off the last track. That the lyrics don't really make a whole lot of sense, at least for me. It flows excellent, but this is a track to me that really didn't have any solid direction or meaningful lyrics, but it does flow good. I can't deny that. Um, I had read kind of just like skimming through the interwebs. The song is kind of just more about getting older and dealing with the pressures of life. I don't really see it to be the case for me personally because it doesn't really come out and just say it. It's not very obvious, so I don't really see any correlations there. It is very digital sounding, like you said, even coming off the last track. Um, I thought this track had a little bit more of a digital sound compared to a lot of the other tracks thus far. Even maybe throughout the album. I mean, we're at the halfway mark here. The verse that I like, though, you touched on it too, but that hang your clothes on a chain link fence in a junkyard, say amen. My phone just went. Your mouth is full of wordless hymns and run on sentences, and they're helpless and forgetting in the background. Holding nothing. I like his vocal delivery again. I think it kind of goes with the quote I said, I had earlier, Beck's quote of just kind of writing something down that sounds good and it's a catchy enough melody. And I think that's what this track is. It's nothing spectacular again. The whole track flows good. It's pretty short, almost too short in a way, but it is short and sweet. It's another decent track. I'm not really high on this one either, just because at this point I'm kind of coming off of two. I wouldn't say lower because I did give the last track a above 7 rating, but I'm kind of looking for something more to wow me, and this one kind of we both are in agreement that it kind of sounds similar to the last track. But this one, yeah, I'm looking for something to wow me from here, and this one didn't really wow me, but I have really no real complaints. I gave this a 6.8. So take that as it will. And we'll move to track number 6, Walls. I have the runtime listed as 2 minutes and 22 seconds. So this is the one that you were talking about earlier. You thought it sounded like something Captain Murphy would put out. This one reminded me of something similar, especially on the intro. It's really just that first 13 seconds, but it almost gives like a rap or an R&B vibe on the intro, like a mixed or a sampling, I guess would be the right word. Um, that song is kind of kept throughout the whole song in the background. Um, Beck's vocals start, that sound is kept in the background. That it's like a stringy sound to me. Um, I really like the beat on this one and the instrumental sound of this track. I think kind of goes without being said. It's super catchy. Hey, what are you gonna do when those walls are falling down on you? To me, this was kind of more of like the saddest song on the album. Not that it's very gloomy, but just what are you gonna do when those walls are falling down on you? It's just I don't know. It seems like more of a gloomy. I don't want to say depressing, but it's definitely this is quite a bit different than Gamma Ray for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like it. Um, I thought it was a pretty good track. The lyrics are pretty obvious, which I like. I like my lyrics to have some direction and some substance. I like Beck's vocals throughout the whole track. He has an iconic sound, but this is one where the iconic sound, the vocals, and the writing kind of align. Like it finally gives it a message. I saw that you touched on it earlier. Cat Power, aka Chan Marshall, is on this track. He was a guest with some of the vocals on the track. I didn't really pick up on his vocals though on this track. I'm assuming they're just kind of like backing vocals more than anything. There was an acoustic version of this song. I don't know if you've ever listened to the acoustic version, but Jessica Dobson is on backing vocals on the acoustic version. Overall, I thought this was a solid track. This is not something that I would crank up real loud, just kind of based on the subject matter. It being kind of a sadder song, it's not as catchy as Gamma Ray, which I'm going to keep throwing it back to Gamma Ray because that's just so mainstream, and you can tell why it's a single. And even Chemtrails, where it's not really upbeat. Chemtrails is not a sad song either, but it is depressing in somewhat of a way. Um, but this one is solid to me just for its depth and its meaning with the lyrics. And the overall musical sound is excellent to my ears. Beck had some solid lyrics, and the writing on this was good too, even if he is kind of throwing stuff together, as it sounds like throughout this album. But I like this one. I give this a 7.2 out of 10.
Okay. We're apart on this song too.
Am I high or low?
Lower.
I'm lower.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I like this one. The song incorporates some like stringed instruments as the underlying like through line for the song, with a couple of different drums. One being a drum machine, one a like bass, or for one a drum machine for a more bassy drum beat, and a more conventional, almost metallic sounding drum. Uh, Also a little harmonica in there, as well as some synth. I have the marimba and the kalimba. Yeah, exactly.
November?
November to dismember. There are a good bit of lyrics to this song, despite being really short, like not even 2.5 minutes long. They come in like 2 to 3 lines at a time, one after another, with no real breaks. Hey, what are you gonna do when those walls are falling down on you? Like that's really good. I like that. You got warheads stacked in your kitchen. You treat distraction just like instant religion. The song feels like a little bluesy, a little folk, but also has that additional bit of electronic sound added into it. I could almost see like the chorus to this. Hey, what are you gonna do? Like on a Whitey Ford Sings the Blues.
Okay.
Like I could see that. Yeah, just a little bit. And then he'd be like, "I'll tell you what, I'm gonna smoke." Like anyway.
Making a couple girls here.
Yeah, you know.
A couple might make you cringe. No, I do want to go ahead and get it out of the way. I think I was a little low on this because I'm listening to it as we're doing this recording, and I'm like, yeah, this might be like my second favorite off the.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it is good.
But research shows this song was written by Beck, Danger Mouse, Paul Giot, and Paul Piot. I'm probably butchering those names.
Yeah,
but whatever.
so don't yell at us in the comments, okay?
Yeah.
We're just two dudes.
Two drunk guys. It's a pretty straightforward song, just with how short it is. It doesn't fuck around. It's very well mixed, and all of these elements come together really well. The lyrics come up until the end, like the very last second. Only beats is a murmur, but your words ring out just like murder. And song cuts right there. I gave this a 8.1 out of 10.
We're a little off.
A little bit.
I don't know if I'd go that high, but I would definitely give it a strong 7.5 because it is good. It just doesn't carry a lot of energy, but it's deep.
Sure.
Still waters run deep.
Yeah. On to track number 7, we have Replica, coming in at 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Rapid, erratic drums up in the track. They are very buzzed and digital in their sound. Not long after what sounds like a guitar starts to echo out. The song is almost feverish in how much is going on in it. The vocals are rattling. They're rattling off the lyrics they are rattling off lyrics rapidly before becoming more spacey and ethereal. Make a replica of your life. Cut the paper with an X-Acto knife. Tape it up, tape it up. It's so unreal. It's all I need. This replica. Like, the song also features some like synth piano keys. What also sounds like a glockenspiel, some more stringed instruments, and some organ. With its like wild nature, the song keeps you on your toes, not sure what to really expect next. The song starts incorporating more traditional drumming to close out the song, along with the strings winding down a little bit. It's not a bad song, but there is so much going on. It can be a bit much. Like I'm not really
Yeah,
sure
there's
what
a
I'm
lot going
supposed
on.
to. What am I supposed to be
Squirrel.
aiming at here? Like,
Yeah.
but I gave this. I feel like I went kind of low on this one. I gave this a 5.8 out of 10.
What?
Yeah,
I was like, I went low on it too, but I'm go that low.
yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie, my dyslexia kind of took over on this one while I was doing the notes. For some reason, I kept thinking it was like reptilia or something like that. I don't know
Okay.
why, but then I was like, no, you dummy, it's replica. So yeah, I have similarness to you. I don't have a lot for this one. It's very chaotic on the intro with a lot going on, but it kind of levels out a bit more with. I thought it sounded more like a keyboard than guitar, but the vocals are delivered very slow with the music, more so like the percussion, just being at such a faster pace. Um, the offset creates kind of a nice, pretty unique sound. Not a lot of lyrics to put as the overall lyric sheet is. It's pretty short. The overall lyric sheet. Um, but the first set of verses, you listed it off. I'm going to repeat it. Make a perfect replica of your life. Cut the paper with an X-Acto knife. Tape it up. Against the howling wind. I'm so tired. I don't know where to begin. I like that. The howling wind. Don't know where to begin. It's simple rhyming. Make a perfect replica of your life. Cut the paper with an X-Acto knife. It's nice. It works. It's so unreal. It's all I need. This replica. After the 2 minute mark, we get strictly just an instrumental on the track, kind of leading us to the exit. Overall, I liked it, but the shortness of the lyrics, I wasn't really a fan of. It's not a bad instrumental carryout on the backside of the track, um, but it kind of left me wishing there was more lyrics, kind of giving us more meat on the bones instead of the little chicken wing we got. That's really my only complaint. Honestly, it's not a huge deal. It's not a bad instrumental at all from that 2 minute mark. Um, but it just kind of left me wanting more, and I didn't give this a crazy high score either. And that's going to reflect just kind of with that, my complaint being that there wasn't really a whole lot of lyrics to pick from. But I did like it. It wasn't bad. I gave this a 6.6. That will take us to Soul of a Man. I have the runtime as 2 minutes, 36 seconds. It's a nice catchy guitar riff that bum 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 bum. It's nice. The vocals come in around 16 seconds. Beck's vocals sound quite a bit deeper here, if not all the previous tracks. It's definitely very deep delivery here. The opening verse, along with the riff, it really sets the tone for me. Beat my bones against the wall, staring down an empty hall, deep down in a hollow log, coming home like a letter bomb. It's a really easy listen with such a short runtime. Even if you don't like it, just give it time, and this one's gonna pass. But for me personally, I liked it, and that delivery. What makes the soul of a man? It's nice. Just, I mean, we're over halfway. We're almost to the end. Um, I really appreciate Beck more the more I listen to this because this is another one it's nothing spectacular, but I did like it. I didn't give it a crazy high score either, but still, it's solid. It's very basic. There's not a whole lot going on, but the vocal delivery is what makes it good for me. Um, and there's vocal delivery kind of emphasized with the instrumental riff that makes the song good to me. It's similar to me with the previous track that it's just a little too short. Solo Man really not having that stretch of instrumental compared to Replica. But I did like this track quite a bit more. But I don't think it's really worthy of a higher score than a 7 to me because, again, a 7, anything above a 7 is just something I would listen to any day of the week. But I'm right there knocking on the door of a 7. I gave this a 6.8.
Okay. So I swear that I've heard the guitar and drum beat at the start of the song in like an ad for something. Can't place
I
it,
could
but
see it.
like
Now that you say that, I'm like,
before that, like before the electric guitar, the
yeah.
comes in. Just I don't know. Swear I've heard that somewhere for something. The song is a bit of a departure from what's kind of come before with the more electronic elements. While still it's still present on the track, they are much more stripped back. Aside from there's a like metallic sound that hits every couple of seconds. I can't tell if that's guitar or synth or what that is. It's funny, like this song is 16 seconds longer than Walls, but contains probably less than half of the lyrics. The vocal delivery goes from more brash to more like softly delivered. Beat my bones against the wall, staring down an empty hall. Dig deep on a hollow log, coming home like a ladder bomb. What makes the soul of a man? 1 minute and 18 seconds in, I like the acoustic guitar gets going and it's like going up against the last like 25 seconds or so starts getting a little like effects heavy as the song starts to fade out. The whole song has a big bold sound to it. It like commands your attention. It's also under 3 minutes, so it doesn't waste your time at
No.
all. Like you're in
Get you
and
in and
out.
out. Yeah, it's the drive through.
I gave this a 7.1.
Okay, so we're close on that one.
Well, yeah, we're close.
I can align with that.
On to track number 9, we have Profanity Prayers coming in at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. There's like a droning fade in of what sounds like a mix of synths and electric guitar to open the song before the drums and guitar really get going 12 seconds in. The droning goes away as the vocals come in. The instrumentation and the vocal delivery really reminds me a lot of the White Stripes a little bit.
I can see it. Yeah, now that you say that, I'm like,
Them and
brother and sister, but not really.
and also reminds me a little bit of Car Seat Headrest. Just a little bit.
I can see that aligning.
Yeah, a little bit. Uh, in a cast iron cage, you couldn't help but stare like a creature. With the laws of a brothel and the fireproof bones of a preacher. The vocals on the verses they're like kind of buried beneath the like loud, crunchy instrumentation before becoming a little bit more clear on the chorus. Who's gonna answer profanity prayers? At 2:08, there's like an instrumental until about 3:09, with a change up at about 2:30. The music like winds down and the acoustic guitar comes in, as well as some vocalization from Beck as the drumming picks back up at 2:44. Song wraps with "Who's gonna answer?" It's echoing, it's warbled as some like digital effects play the last like second of the song. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this song. For whatever reason, maybe just the fact that it was so late into the album, it always managed to fly under my radar. Um, but I gave this a 7.7.
So I align with you. I'm going to show you. Look at so this is, if you just Google Profanity Prayers by just Profanity Prayers lyrics, look at the lyrics it's just a question mark.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And it's way off. Like there's a couple verses on here that are off, so I went with the Spotify lyrics, which are correct. The more I follow along with it, I'm like, that's crazy. I've never had that happen where I Google lyrics.
And it's just that
and
off.
It gives me a question mark because it's like, yeah, we don't know what the fuck that is. It's like, what do you think this is, Google boy? But no, I like it. It's a nice slow drip on the synth fade in, with the percussion and the guitars dropping in around 13 seconds, with a nice up-tempo beat. The vocals around 27 seconds with a similar speed of delivery. It's not so much like, what was that track? Not Soul of a Man, but Replica, where it's very chaotic. And like you said, it's kind of hard to focus in on. This was kind of the opposite. It was very slow delivery, but upbeat and with the tempo. But the vocals were delivered in a way that's very easy to understand. I'm surprised Google couldn't wrap their little fingers around the lyrics. That was the first time I'd ever seen a question mark on Google's lyrics. Spotify, though, was on point.
Normally, they'll like, if anything, they'll just get it wrong.
Yeah,
You know what I
Well, they
mean?
did too. There was like a couple lines where it's like that's not right. The first verse is really well written, and again, it doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense, but it sounds good. On a government loan with a guillotine in your libido. I like that. Who's going to answer? Profanity prayers. And profanity prayers is I don't know. That's it's just a funny song title. Like it definitely piqued my interest. This one I thought was kind of like more of a popish song, which I thought was a little bit refreshing because most of the album is somewhat poppy, but it's just because of the electronic songs. It's more psychedelic, kind of like you were tapping into earlier, and even like folky and I mean it's rock and roll too. And I mean you have the Gamma Ray, which sounds like a surf song. Um, it's this track is heavy on the repetition, especially of the main chorus. Um, while not being like spectacular, it was solid enough for me. It's similar enough to the previous track where it's very close to being that above a 7 rating for me. What did you give this one again?
I gave 7.7.
Okay, so I'm quite a bit lower than you. I give this a 6.9, but it's close, and I'm listening to it again right now, and I'm like I might be a little low on this one because I could see it being above a 7 for sure. It's catchy. Um, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I gave it a 6.9. And that will take us to the final track on the album, Volcano. I have the runtime at just under 4.5 minutes. I have it at 4 minutes, 26 seconds. So I thought this was like really slow and electronic on the intro with percussion that's pretty reserved and very slow. But I did like Beck's slow release of his vocals. It didn't take me long to kind of come to the point of thinking this was an excellent way of closing out the album because it's such a mellow track. And it fits some of, if not all, the themes of the album, but it does the album justice. This is just comparing, looking at, you know, Google vocal notes. This is definitely like the longest amount of lyrics we get. And I didn't really quote a whole lot. Actually, I did. This is pretty lengthy. And I'm going to jump about halfway, a little over halfway into the track. Around 2 minutes, 22 seconds. Like I said, bear with me. This is long. And I heard of that Japanese girl who jumped in the volcano. Was she trying to make it back into the womb of the world? I've been drinking all these tears so long. All I've got left is a taste of salt in my mouth. I don't know where I've been, but I know where I'm going. To that volcano. I don't want to fall in though. I just want to be warm. I just want to warm my bones, sorry. On the firing line. And that's the end of the song, and the remaining 40 seconds is just filled with a nice keyboard and reserved percussion. I really like this, and I like the somberness of it, especially that last 40 seconds. One of the other tracks, I'm not even going to scroll up to figure out what it was, but just that long instrumental, I wasn't big on it. But here, with this being the closing track, and it really just, I don't know, this was, I couldn't have said it any better. Like sometimes me, I know for sure I will, but I'm sure you've done it too, where we kind of nitpick the closing track. The closing track and the opening track is very important to me. And this one was, I mean, I couldn't see it any other better way to close it. I really like the writing on this one. While again, not making a whole lot of sense, it shows a lot of depth, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense. I bought into it, and it seems really personable, and I like that about it. I like this one quite a bit. I gave this a 7.5 out of 10. Even
Okay.
though there's not a whole lot really. I mean, I'm curious to see what you have to say about it, but I didn't think it was crazy good, but I feel like it fits really good. And overall it's a decent song. Not something I would blare and rock out to, but
Sure.
solid.
So I got there's like a skittering, like squeal and bass guitar, and multiple drum beats to open up this track before the guitar and vocals come in. The song has like a dreary and like downbeat tempo to it. I've been walking on these streets so long, I don't know where they're calling me anymore. But I think I must have seen a ghost. A very slow and deliberate pace to the vocals. There's also a swell of ethereal backing vocals that they come and they go. And I heard of that Japanese girl who jumped into the volcano. She was trying to make it. Was she trying to make it back into the womb of the world? In the last like minute or so of the song, some stringed instruments as well as some like faint twinkling come in. the song comes to a bit of an abrupt end with like one last like beat of the drums followed by a couple of seconds of silence to end the album. Song is like really well mixed between the electronic and acoustic instrumentation. Then again, I mean, you can say that about a lot of this album
Yeah.
in its entirety. Like it's pretty consistently good. So I didn't go quite as high on it. I gave this a 7 out of 10.
Still good.
So
I mean,
yeah, like it's good, and I felt like it was a pretty good way to close out the album.
yeah.
Um, Overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts, similar to last week's album. You can check out the episode we did last week. We covered, it was my pick. We did Tom Petty Wildflowers, which quite lengthier than this album, but similar in the fact that like I wasn't crazy about a lot of the songs individually. But this is a short album. I mean, its runtime is 33 minutes and some change, right?
Hmm.
If I remember correctly, and it flows good. I mean, there's not a bad track on it. Some are a little bit better than others. There's quite a bit of range. Like I will say that Gamma Ray to even the last track, Volcano, they are polar opposites. I liked it. It was a great introduction to Beck. Makes me kind of curious for more, even though it, not even though, especially just going off the fact that we were talking about it off mic before we started recording that you like this album, but there's other albums you like more by
Hmm.
Beck. So that makes me very intrigued, especially because like overall I would give this probably a better rating. I mean, if you punched all my scores together and got an average, the average I'm going to tell you right now is probably better. I'd give this a strong 7.3 to a 7.5 overall rating, just because I did like the vibe of it. Um, and I think we've talked about it before. We might have touched on it on the show, but I feel like sometimes the first album that you listen to by an artist is kind of one that it's make or break.
Yeah,
So this one will probably be the make or break one for me for a while, but I'm curious to see because me and you are very similar on music. I mean, our scores were a little different on this one.
which is rare. I feel like this. I feel like generally we're pretty close. Or
Yeah,
maybe not. Maybe like we just have like there are some where we're just boom, boom,
we're
boom, boom, like very close
very
together.
consistent. But no, this is a great album. Like I said, overall, this is an album that I would consider buying just because it's good through and through, and it's short. I mean, a half-hour album is nothing. That's a pretty
Mhm.
short runtime. So yeah, I was pleased with it. I think I texted you pretty early before we even got together this week and told you that I liked it, and I did like it. So yeah, it was a good pick.
Hell yeah.
What do you got to say? Closing thoughts.
Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, this wasn't. I think after the past like 2 weeks, you and I both needed like a little bit of a break because
Yeah,
we
this was kind
were
of a toss up.
we were
This was an
picking
easy.
we were doing long albums and we just
Yes.
needed like I was like, man, I want to do Beck is a safe bet, but like what album do I want to pick? So I started thumbing through and I'm like, yeah, I have that album. A little shorter would be nice. Yeah, I have that album. A little shorter would be nice. I saw this. I'm like, hey, I have that album, and that's perfect. I can work with that. So I ended up going with Modern Guilt. It was like between this Guero, Sea Change, and I just realized there was another album that he put out in like 2006. Can't remember what it was called, but I had that one too. But I don't think I ever listened to that album actually. So
Kind of went with more of the safe bet, sure thing.
yeah,
It was a good choice.
yeah, no, it was good. There was I didn't expect it to be as electronic as it was. Like I was kind of surprised at parts. I was like, damn, okay, this really a lot
It's
of
pretty much
electronic shit
yeah. The
going on.
foundation of it is very electronic.
But yeah, no, I felt like it did that well though. It mixed electronic with more of like the rock sound very well. It was very well mixed. And the album did not disappoint. I thought this was a good listen. Overall, yeah, I'd probably give this close to like a between like a 7.2 and a 7.5. Yeah,
So we're close enough on the overall score.
yeah.
Yeah,
But on to this week's bonus track.
we are doing for the bonus track. Pretty iconic song by Steve Miller Band called "Fly Like an Eagle." Overall runtime 4 minutes and 42 seconds. Now this was off similar to Modern Guilt having a song Modern Guilt. "Fly Like an Eagle" is the ninth studio album by American rock band Steve Miller Band. Ninth studio album released in May 14th on May 14th of 1976. That kind of blew my mind that they already had 9 studio albums.
Yeah,
Well, eight and then 1976 you got number 9. And I got to tell you, I kind of maybe messed up a little bit because this is an album that I would consider covering on the podcast because the track listing on it is pretty good. In fact, in 2025, this album, Fly Like an Eagle, was deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant by the Library of Congress and selected for preservation in the National Recording Registry, which I think the only other album that I remember pointing that out with was Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, which we covered on the pod too. Go ahead and check that out if you want. So the thing that I didn't really know about the song, and maybe I did, maybe I didn't. So Fly Like an Eagle is track number 2. Track number 1 is Space Intro, which is a minute and 14-second intro to track number 2, Fly Like an Eagle. Which, if you're a fan of Fly Like an Eagle, I definitely would say you have to listen to Space Intro and then let it flow into Fly Like an Eagle. Because it's very catchy and it definitely picks up on that like little fade in with a
Mm-hmm.
and it's just, I don't know, it's a very iconic track with just the tick tock, tick, do 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 do. It's very catchy. So little funny note here, I didn't know this. Actually, the radio show I listened to touched on it, but I totally forgot about it. 20 years after Miller's original version, British singer Seal, which I don't know if you're familiar with any Seal's work.
Yeah, Christopher Rose.
Yeah, he was with Heidi Klum for a long time. Well, I don't know about a long time. But anyways, he covered the song Fly Like an Eagle for the soundtrack to the 1996 film, very popular, Space Jam. Steele said that Steve Miller approved of the cover version and at one point called him, thanking him, and saying it was the best cover that he had heard of the song, which I thought was pretty interesting. So the intro to the Fly Like an Eagle is just, like I said, so iconic to me. It's an easy listen from start to finish, and it's something I've come to appreciate more the older I get. Let me see if I have, but just the time keeps on slipping into the future. It's repeated multiple times, 4 times, but it's just, I don't know, it's very catchy. And another funny side note too here, the track features a Fender Stratocaster through a Maestro Echoflex, and that's what creates the, I'm probably butchering that again, don't comment yelling at me. It creates that iconic spacey and echoey guitar riff. There's also a synthesizer for the wind and the other just sound effects. There's also an organ, a electric piano, and bass, creating a bluesy rock and space funk fusion. There actually was a couple other recordings where it wasn't so spacey and funky, which I didn't listen to, but I'm kind of curious because it does come off very funky in a way, especially being in the late 70s. I can definitely see that. But definitely the peak of the song for me is just the repetition of that time keeps on slipping into the future. Funny story too, my dad ruined this song for me in a way that's kind of just funny. He would sing it, bark like a beagle, but he would sing it more like bark, like how a beagle would bark.
Okay.
So yeah, take that. Hopefully that ruined the song like it did for me.
No,
it didn't
it's
ruin
funny
it
because I was thinking about this today and I was like, I like the beagle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, something with the beagle.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You like dogs?
Yeah.
I like dogs.
You like dogs?
But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite Steve Miller Band songs of all time. Like I said, it's definitely something I appreciated more the older I get. Another funny story, not really funny, it's actually sad in a way. So the album art, which I don't know if when you listen to it on Spotify if you saw the album art, but it's literally Steve Miller holding the guitar. Are you looking at it?
Mm-hmm.
So that guitar was originally for Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix was a left-handed guitar player. He passed away before he actually got the guitar, and Steve Miller got the guitar and restrung it because like not a lot, but like I know Kurt Cobain, he was a left-hand guitar player, and he would get a lot of guitars that were for right-handed players, and he would have to learn it upside down. This guitar was actually restrung for Steve Miller to play it right-handed because he's right-handed. But that guitar on the cover art was actually Jimi Hendrix's guitar, but he passed away before he got the guitar. So interesting little tidbit. I don't know if I gave the overall score. I give this a 8 out of 10 because I do like it. Yeah, you probably gave it like a 6.3.
Okay. So we got fly like an eagle.
You gotta bark like a beagle.
The future. No, we're not that far off.
If we were, I wouldn't be mad. It's my bonus track. I should be higher on it than you.
No,
Pretty
you're
close.
lower. Yeah, I mean the guitar opens with
That makes me
I mean,
feel good.
the guitar opens the track with what initially sounds like some radio static, and then it becomes more clear that it's not radio static. It's like almost like a windy gust of air.
That's that synthesizer.
Yeah, that like one would hear in
At an
flight.
airport. Yeah.
Yeah, followed by the drums and some really fun synth work. I'm really impressed with like the synth work on this, considering it's as like old as it is.
Yeah, 76.
Yeah, this is 50 years old.
Yeah.
Fucking
A lot of the
wow.
synth, even like if you look at Wish You Were Here from 75, there's a lot of like synth on it. They knew what they were doing back in the day.
It's crazy.
Everybody was doing it too because it was the new thing and it was very
Mhm.
different.
But yeah, before the lyrics like really start to hit, we get the tick tock do 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 do. The song is like equal parts funky and groovy with its bass line throughout the song, and also psychedelic with its synth work. The chorus is absolutely classic. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I particularly like the synth coming off of each line in the chorus. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly like the eagle till I'm free. Oh Lord, through the revolution. Like, that's good. I'm not nailing that line as good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fucking whatever.
It's fine.
It's okay. At 2:52, the synth starts looping for like a good like 20 or so seconds as the bass hits. It's like a 1-2 beat as the song quiets down, going into the outro, with the vocals and music winding down as the synth remains and carries the song to a close. The last like 20 or so seconds of the song being that like spacey wind sound with some beeps. It makes you feel like just like a satellite or I don't know.
Yeah, you're just floating out there.
Beep, beep, and like nothing else really going on, you know what I mean? Not to repeat myself, but I mean the song is a classic. Who doesn't know this fucking song? Really awesome synth work, groovy bass, psychedelic lyrics and vocal delivery. Song oozes 70s energy. I give this an 8.5 out of 10. So
That's good.
yeah. So next week.
Next week, do you have a bonus picked out for next week?
I do.
Let's do this shot where me and Shane, funny
Yeah,
story here.
yeah.
We're gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you the story. What we're drinking. What we just done drink. As I said in the intro, this is my best friend Shane alongside
Aw.
me here. Yeah, I like to make him blush.
Yeah, that's my friend over there.
So this
I like
is-
the guy. I like him.
Yeah, he's all right. No, I was the best man at the wedding. You know what can I say?
Hey, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
man?
who does? You know. Now we're drinking some Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, which is not bad. We prefer the other stuff that we usually drink, but not bad. We actually, funny enough, we covered Rick Ross Masterminds, which was way out of my element. But we went and saw the movie Masterminds, and we were drinking some Tennessee Honey. We snuck into the theater. I don't even know if we were probably of drinking age. I would think at that time.
Yeah.
When did it come out?
You definitely were. 2016. It was like
Okay, so yeah.
it was like
no.
It was like no. It was like August or September.
Okay, so
like,
yeah, I would have just turned
I
21.
wasn't. I was
yeah,
close,
you weren't.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were drinking that in the theater responsibly. We didn't drink all of it, but we drank a
Kids
decent
there.
bit. We had a good time. But anyways, tell us what the bonus will be, and then I'll get to my album choice for next week.
Well, fucking. I feel like we're cutting ourselves short a little bit here. So yeah, we're watching.
Okay,
This,
you're
we're
gonna
watching
give
this
them the
dumb-
full story.
This dumbass movie that like.
It's not dumbass. It's funny.
No, it can be dumbass and be.
You
Funny.
nearly gave me a fart transplant.
That's dumb as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
But like funny. Yeah. Oh fuck! I get you.
Blows
with
the
that?
money and just
The
hits him
pubes
with
come off of it?
the butt pube.
That's
I think. Didn't he pull? Did
yes,
he pull out the front or the
yes,
back?
It was out the back.
That's what I thought.
And he had cat contacts in. That's super.
Yes.
Dude, that's super dumb. But that's funny.
That's sack African.
So it's like a PG-13 movie, and like PG-13 movie, you and I were there, and like some like kids were in front of us, like a couple rows down, and you and I were just passing the bottle back and forth, like
Just having a good old time.
just laughing way harder at it than they were.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, I gotta tell them about when we went and saw Sausage Party, how big of a letdown that was.
Jesus. And we're both like, man, this is fucking childish.
It's
I
like,
don't
can't
like
believe,
this.
Mastermind's way better.
Yeah, that's sublime poetic
Yeah,
genius.
it's like poetry.
Anyway, for next week's bonus track, we have the song You're So Cool by Jonathan Bree. You're so
I thought it was gonna be You're So Vain.
cool. No.
Or You're So Cool by Hans Zimmer.
Oh,
You
no
familiar
idea.
with that one?
No idea.
Okay.
So yeah, Jonathan Bree, You're So Cool.
Word. Next week's album, what we'll be talking about. Hopefully, you guys tune in next week. We are going to be doing Alanis Morissette's probably one of her more popular albums. This is released on June 9th of 1995. I was a nice little 6 days old. This is going to be Jagged Little Pill. It's a very interesting album. 13 tracks overall. I listened to it today for the first time ever, and I liked it. So tune in next week for that. We'll give you guys another track-by-track analysis with the bonus track. You're So Cool. So, yeah. Until next time.
Don't work too hard now. Oh, Mike, come on.
Dude,